What's going on, y'all? I'm back with another volume, another episode of Welcome to the Franchise here. Just finished watching the rest of the playoff games here tonight, which wraps up the NFC Conference Championship game and the AFC Conference Championship game. And like I thought, we do have our Super Bowl rematch here. So I'm really excited to get into, this volume in this episode about what we were able to see in these games today and talk about what's coming next in the rematch for the Super Bowl between Kansas City and the Eagles. Shit. I ain't gonna hold you. It was mad fun watching these games today. For the most part, the better part, of course, the Chiefs Bills game, as we all knew that was gonna be a good one. Philly and the Commanders, the Commanders just, you know what I mean? They couldn't hang, you know what I mean? The Eagles got that playoff experience, and we all know just from top to bottom, overall, they were the better fucking team. So let's get into it. Let's get more into it and everything. Volume 18, episode 18 of Welcome to the Franchise. Let's get to it, y'all. So I'm going to start first, of course, with the NFC Championship game between the Eagles and the Commanders. So for Washington, obvious that, the turnovers killed them. They got plucked, 3 times today? They was getting plucked every time. They got plucked, I believe, on a kick return. So that's bad on special teams, even though they had a good special teams play where they threw it for a first down, where they kind of needed that play to keep things alive and keep things going. And then you get, a fumble from De'Ami Brown, who, he had a nice catch. I believe it was third down, and Jaden Daniels was able to find him. And he tried to make, some moves after the catch. Actually, I believe it was second down, but it was second and long. Trying to make some moves, get a little spark on the team going because it wasn't looking too good for how they came out at first. He tried to do a little extra, and he got plucked. Great play. I believe it was Zach Bond or Oren Burks who came in and made the punch on the ball while he was still trying to break tackles. And, he got that peanut punch in there, and the ball was loose. So, overall for the story, the main thing for Washington was, turnovers, man. You got to take care of the ball. Can't be getting plucked out here. This playoff football, you know what I'm saying? This is real business out here on the field at this point in the game. This is a big game for the whole season. And, the Eagles players and this whole Eagles roster and the coaching, they have that experience. They have the playoff experience. They've been here before, and they wanted more. And they're just, from top to bottom, a great roster put together, especially on defense. So that ultimately, really killed them. On top of that, I'll say this with the Commanders, there was no pop or production from the running back spot anywhere today, like not at all. And that's why I think I touched on it a little bit. Even if I didn't, in my mind, I was thinking like last week with Brian Robinson, the game that he had against Detroit, is like, yo, what the fuck? Like, this shit is surprising me because throughout the season, Brian Robinson really hasn't moved, he hasn't moved the needle or popped out to the eye, done nothing crazy, nothing special like that. And then it showed again today, especially that's going to show up against a better defense. I mean, the Detroit Lions defense, well coached, but they ain't got the dogs that the Eagles got. We know that. You know what I'm saying? And they dealt with a lot of injuries, right? But, Brian Robinson was not getting it done today. He wasn't really doing much. Just kind of not really hitting the hole, just kind of just seeing if something opens up and then plopping around. Wasn't hitting the hole. Austin Eckler, he ain't do shit. He ain't do shit today. He not going to hit the hole. He not one of those running backs to really hit the hole and really slash through the gaps and everything like that, or try and find a good opening. He's more of a passing game type dude. And I don't even think I've seen McNichols one time in the game today, who they probably should have still did a little bit more of that, a higher dose of that shit today, because them two niggas wasn't doing nothing today. So I don't know if he was hurt or not or anything like that, active or not, but they should have did a little bit more because there's no pop, no production, there's no energy, you know what I'm saying? No motion from the running back position today. And that's important in these type of games also in the playoffs. Eckler also had a bad play. He had a catch. He had a catch and he fell down. And then he gets back up. He tries to get back up, but in the middle of traffic and everything, and while you're already on the ground with someone bearing down on you, he gets back up and he gets plucked. And I believe that play was Oren Burks, who was doing his thing and getting all over the field and getting after today. And we'll get into that a little bit more. But yeah, like me personally, from what I've learned and everything like that, that's to me, that's another one of those things where it's kind of like one of those basic rules that you learn in playing football in a situation like that, right? You catch the ball, you fall down on the ground, someone's barreling down on you, you might as well just stay the fuck down because you know they're coming for the ball. You know what I'm saying? I believe you're coached that, you know what I'm saying, in those situations. And that's where experience comes in. They don't have the situational awareness and the experience there to know, like, hey, in this situation, let's just live for another down. You know what I'm saying? And Eckler got plucked, and it fucked him up because it looks like it just when, at that time in the game, I think it was like 34-23 or something like that. At that time in the game, right before that, I believe Washington had their first stop in a while, or they forced Philly to go 3 and out and get the ball back, and it looked like they were driving and they could have made it interesting even with the time going down, and they missed on a 2-point conversion early in the game. It would have went from 23-34 to like 30-34 or 29-34, what have you, whatever they would have wanted to do after they scored, because that they were moving on that drive. It looked like they were going to do that, and that killed really all their momentum and all their energy with hopes to get back into the game. So that was a real bad play by Eckler, and he really fucked that whole shit up. The other thing after that I noticed is the only target for Jaden really this whole day, and I knew this was going to happen because, well, not I knew, but I had a strong feeling that this may have been the case because I had a feeling that Philly was going to bring the blitz. Even if they didn't bring the blitz, they got 4 dudes and niggas in the reserves that could fucking rush the quarterback, and they're athletic enough to rush a quarterback and get him uncomfortable like Jaden Daniels, as athletic and as fast as he is. So, Ertz was his main target. Cool. You dumping it off. You giving him 10-yard. He's open in the middle of the field in the seam. He had a couple drop passes, but he had a lot of catches too. But what I thought was a little bit outside of that was a little bit of suspect play calling at times and a lot of long developing plays or long developing routes. And it's like, you can't do that right now with the pass rush that they have and how they're going to try and come at Jaden with some blitzes or changing some looks up in the coverages. You know what I'm saying? So that, to me, is kind of what had this offense take a step back. It wasn't terrible for, a half of the game, what I'm saying, that they played. They got the ball to Terry McLaurin, who had a big play and everything. They got the ball to De'Ami Brown a few times. They got the ball to Olamide Zacchaeus a few times and everything, but it seemed like in certain cases when they were running the ball, they probably shouldn't have, or in certain cases when they were trying to do a screen, they shouldn't have to one of the receivers, or it just seemed like when they were doing some pass plays, and it was allowing the pass rush to get to Jaden or get him uncomfortable, the routes were taking too long to develop, and you got guys that you got to believe in, especially a guy like Terry McLaurin, that, this is the playoffs here. You got to beat your man. Just beat your man. And if it's zone, beat the zone. And it's in the quarterback's hands to be decisive enough to read the zone and break it down and make his read and make that throw, which Jaden Daniels has proven that he's capable of doing. So I think those are the things there that really fucked up the Commanders. But let's flip it to the champs, man. The Eagles, man. They... Like I said, their roster that's built, it's probably the best roster in the league, built from top to bottom. The Eagles, let's start with their defense right now, right? The Eagles defense got dogs on all 3 fucking levels. All 3 levels down to the motherfucking reserves. Jordan Davis. And I was talking to Jalen Carter this, Jalen Carter that. And they played together at Georgia, so they, But Jordan Davis, who's a big body, big boy in there in the middle, probably more utilized to stop the run because he takes up space and make those plays. But he's fast and athletic too. He was getting busy in the passing game too when he was in college at Georgia, and he made a big play today that really killed one of the drives that was significant for the Commanders, and he got a sack today. You got Robert Hunt. You see him flashing, getting pressures. Josh Sweat, I believe he had a pressure or a tackle for a loss, so I believe he actually had a sack. There was a Huff sighting out there. This nigga signed with them and shit. You ain't really see his ass nowhere. You know what I'm saying? Hence win number 0 this season for the Eagles. But he came out today and flashed a little bit, did a few little pressures there. Of course, what he's known for is pressures and not finishing all the time as much. But he popped out. Safeties had a good game too. And then, Oren Burks, man. Oren Burks, have a motherfucking day, kid. Have a motherfucking day. He was flying around right there with Bourne, filling in for Nakobe Dean, who got hurt, I believe, in their first playoff game or right before the playoffs. But, he filled in real well. Like, have a fucking day, my dude. Like, had the tackles. He was around the ball. Got his hands on a couple batted passes, I believe. Had a forced fumble. It just seemed like throughout the whole game, he was around the ball, or he was around making big stops or key stops and just doing all the shit that you got to do in coverage or in the run game, or just being around the ball, just staying active and being in the game, popping out on the screen. So, the fucking Eagles, they got dogs on every fucking level down to their motherfucking reserves, man. So, it was beautiful to see. That's good defense right there. You know what I'm saying? They all playing together as a unit. Everybody has their role. Everybody's going to have a game where they could pop out and flash, and even if someone goes down, they're tired, or they get hurt, roll an ankle right quick, they got motherfuckers to come out there in the reserves and be like, nah, we trust this nigga. We trust this dude. He going to do his work. Fuck that. You know what I'm saying? On every level, D-line to the linebackers to, of course, the defensive back, they're fucking deep. They're deep, and what I also like is they got some defensive backs back there that are capable of playing both corner and safety, like slot corner and safety. Shit, probably maybe even outside corner, because Cooper DeJean, he had himself a day too, making some key tackles, had some key deflections, and he was coming up playing outside corner, and you know what I'm saying, breaking up little screen passes and shit like he was a safety. So, that's really key for a team like that. They're going to be fucking dangerous in this game coming up. It's going to be interesting to see. And then I'm going to flip it now to, Jalen Hurts in the offense. Jalen Hurts finally decided to, show out and show off his passing game capabilities like I brought up before. We just didn't see it throughout most of the season, and we didn't really see it throughout the playoffs. But I get it. You got an all-time, all-world running back like Saquon back there, then run the fucking ball. Keep it simple and shit. You know what I'm saying? Us fans that are fans of the game, watching the game, we'll say some shit like, but he can't throw, and he not throwing good enough. But it's like, we also be on the other side of shit. If niggas do throw too much. Be like, no, run the ball with the best running back you fucking got. And, that's what they did. They were able to do both and balance it out today. It was good to see. Devontae Smith got involved, had some good catches. A.J. Brown was eating niggas up. That nigga ate Lattimore food today. Like, I don't know, but Lattimore, it might be time to hang it up, kid. And it might be time because it's looking real sick out there for you. You got put in a mix in the first round. You know what I'm saying? You got put in the mix in this game for sure. Brown was eating your food. You got your food, ate the whole game. Devontae Smith had a good game. Dallas Goedert had a good game. You know what I'm saying? But, of course, the focal point of the whole offense was really Saquon. Saquon went the fuck off. I believe he had the hat trick, right? Or like 4 TDs or some shit like that, right? But once I saw that first drive, I seen what the Washington defense was in. It was so spread out. And I said, if they do a toss or a little counter off tackle on this first play, Saquon gonna break it. He gonna break it and he out of there. And what happened on the first play? Saquon broke it. He's out of there. Good night. I say, If Washington don't get that defense together like that and don't stop that run at first, then it's clipped. And Saquon had a big fucking day. You know what I'm saying? You love to see it for a player like that, especially what he had to deal with in his career with injuries, and especially what he had to deal with in his career dealing with the fucking Giants. And watching them niggas give your bag to the nigga that really ain't shit. He not the nigga that's the offense. And he not even on the team no more. You feel me? And they making all these moves that don't make no sense. That's just that's why they looking sick now. And another adding insult to injury with that shit. With the Giants is they could have drafted Jaden Daniels. I believe that was in discussion. They might have been in position for that. So imagine having both of them at the same fucking time. Now they're both playing in this game, the biggest game to get to the Super Bowl, and then your guy who's a franchise guy, wanted to retire there, all of that. He running his way to the Super Bowl with your franchise rivals. So shout out to Saquon for having a big game. And like, he the MVP of that team. Everybody knows that shit. And he definitely should be up for being MVP of the league because he's had a sensational motherfucking season. And he got them all the way into the Super Bowl. So that shit is going to be fun as fuck to watch because it's a different element now added to this big game. Before I move on to the AFC Championship game right quick, I just got to say this, yo. With tush push shit, that whole bizarre goal line stand or goal line situation, like, yo, how the fuck do you stop tush push? Like, how? You know what I'm saying? And then, what Frankie Louvu was doing, I feel him because it's like, what else I'm going to fucking do, yo? What else I'm going to do? Only thing I could do is Tro Polamalu that shit. You feel me? But you got to time it up right. That's why I feel like only a nigga like Tro Polamalu could stop that shit. If Tro Polamalu was playing in today's game, right, he would end all that shit. Just like how Louvu's idea in his mind he was trying to execute today. Of course, it wasn't working the way he was doing. But it's like that's a smart way to do it. While having a bunch of times to watch that shit over and over again, and I fucking can't stand a tush push, whatever. But one of my thought processes was, you kind of got to battle it in the same way that they do, right? Because they have their linemen get wild low, basically lowest man to the ground, right? Like rugby. Then they have two guys pushing their quarterback right behind. So maybe, I mean, I know it probably sounds dumb or sounds crazy or whatever, but I'm just saying, we gotta, you know what I'm saying? We gotta brainstorm this shit. We gotta have all ideas because this tush push shit is kind of unstoppable, basically unstoppable, right? Although Washington did have a stop on it today. But what I was thinking is, yo, take the safeties out of the game, put in 4 linebackers, have your defensive linemen do the same thing that the offensive linemen do. Get lower, take out the offensive linemen's legs. Have your 2 linebackers right there, right? And then the other 2 linebackers right behind them. And have them push those linebackers straight to the fucking A-gaps. You know what I'm saying? Like how they're doing with the quarterback. And then see what the fuck happens. Both, all that force together and shit. A stalemate. You feel me? Because they're pushing, you're pushing. And it's like, so you mean to tell me, their tight end, we don't got the same equaled up strength as my 4 linebackers, and then their running back is gonna be more strong than 2 other linebackers on the other side? I don't know. Just a thought. Maybe a stupid, dumb thought, crazy thought of mine, but just a thought. But shit, I should workshop that shit down the line with a couple more episodes on how to stop that shit. But anyway, gonna move on next to the AFC Championship game. This was another classic in my mind. That was fun to watch. Another classic between these two teams. Of course, we know how the result was gonna end, but this shit was fun to watch. What I really enjoyed about this, the big thing for me, is throughout the whole game, most of the game also too, it was really a great chess match between all 4 of the coordinators involved. You know what I'm saying? Andy Reid versus McDermott, with their offensive, defensive coordinator type minds and shit. Joe Brady versus Spags. You know what I'm saying? That shit was fun to watch. Like, it was crazy. It was great. But what I want to point out as far as early in this game, the turnover early, the little miscue and mistake and the fumble by Mahomes, I thought would be a factor. That's really what, I don't want to say gave him life, but it's like it made him more interesting than it probably had to be at that point in the game. But the Bills are a really, really good team. So turnover or not, it probably would have still been the same. They still would have been able to keep it this close. They overcame it anyway, so it wasn't really that big of a factor. I thought it could be if it came down to being a one possession game late at the end of the half or later on in the game. But also a lot of missed chances early in the game by the Chiefs. A lot of missed chances for some turnovers to get of their own. They missed. I feel it looked like they dropped like 3 picks in one drive. If I remember correctly, that's what it felt like. And then the drive after that, it seemed like they were dropping interceptions as well. It was just fucking hot potato all over the place. But I get it. It was probably nerves for some of those players in the defensive backfield and everything. But other than that, like I said, great chess match to watch all game. Worthy and Brown, them niggas had a fucking day. Really heavy with them on the offensive game plan and executing throughout the first half mainly, and then also in the second half also. With them keying on Kelsey like I thought they probably would, as Kelsey only had 2 catches, but two important catches today. Other guys were going to have to get involved at the receiver spot in the slot or from the outside or moving around and everything, and Kansas City did a great job of doing exactly that. So, that was good shit. They had the offense in motion. There was some times where I believe maybe late in the second quarter and definitely in the third quarter, I want to say early in the third quarter, it seemed like Kansas City's offense kind of was losing a little bit of rhythm. They kept trying to run the ball with Hunt. It was tough sledding up front. Shout out to the Bills defense up front, defending the run, also defending the pass as well today. And those instances, not throughout the whole game, but it seemed like Kansas City kind of lost their rhythm a little bit. Like I said, tough sledding up front in the run game for Hunt and Pacheco, and they still ended up having really solid games. But they got shit in motion. They still got shit in motion with Worthy and Brown and shit. Juju Smith-Schuster popping out. Juju Smith-Schuster motherfucking popping out and showing niggas a couple times too. So he had a nice game too with some really significant plays for the Chiefs today. Another thing I'm gonna say that I saw and I liked in this game is I liked how Kansas City, they forced Allen to make some uncomfortable throws throughout the whole game, and they also challenged him in the pass rush game and with some of their coverages downfield. So they challenged him, they got some pressure on him, they made him a little bit uncomfortable, and then they were throwing some coverages at him downfield because you see he was rolling out, trying to throw downfield, and those guys were covering down there, or they were covering the middle of the field where he was trying to get it to Shakir easily or trying to get it to Knox or someone easily, and they were like, nah, we taking that away. You gotta do some crazy shit. You know what I'm saying? We know you're capable of doing that, but we rather you do some crazy shit to somebody else than who you're comfortable with. We're gonna make you uncomfortable. And then they were able to stymie him a little bit in the pass rush game. I believe they got a sack or 2. But other than that, some pressures made him feel uncomfortable. So I liked how they did that for the most part in the first half. And then eventually what started happening is, the chess match still continued. And then Buffalo switched it up to that run game. Started giving Cook that ready rock. You know what I'm saying? Giving him the ball, giving Ray Davis the ball, Ty Johnson the ball. And then that's when Joe Brady and the Bills, they're like, nah, this what we do. They can't take this away. And that's when I feel like they kind of had Spags off balance a little bit and shit. You know what I'm saying? So now, let me flip it on to on Buffalo side, right? What I seen that they was doing, their performance in this game. Buffalo, I believe from start even to finish, we're going to talk about that last drive in a bit, but for the most part of this game, start to finish, they had a really good game plan and they executed well. They ran the ball really well. They stayed on schedule. They didn't get in too many third and longs or second and longs or anything like that. They converted their fourth downs. You know what I'm saying? They converted their little tush pushes and everything, which is crazy that some of them got stopped, because I would imagine that as a defender, it's probably a little bit harder to stop the tush push against a fucking 6'5" quarterback with a big body and could run and could, break tackles and stuff. But, I may be wrong on that, because that formation is all about low man wins, which is definitely a big staple when it comes to leverage in the game of football. So, but anyway, with that, their offense did execute. They were running the ball well. They stayed in motion. Moving the ball downfield with Cook running the ball and Allen, running the ball in the second half a little bit more, getting better with that in the second half as opposed to the first. Allen made some big throws also. He made some bullet passes for some big first downs when it was third and long, to Shakir and to motherfucking Mac Hollins. Mac fucking Hollins, who I feel like any Bills game that I caught, he was always a sneaky fucking factor in every game and always making a big play and shit. And that was a dude you got to watch out for. And he made maybe 2 or 3 big plays, and also big plays in the blocking game too, because there was a run that sprung off, I believe, for Cook. Maybe he scored a touchdown, or maybe it was just a big run and he had a good block as well. So Mac Hollins was a key factor. I like how Joe Brady really executed his game plan, running the ball, the little screens to get some yardage. Also as much as it probably didn't work as effectively in the previous game or other games throughout the season, still mixing that up in there to throw the defense off, because, there was a point in this game, and I was calling it out. I said, they got Spags off his square right now. They got him off, especially in that third and fourth quarter. In that third and fourth quarter, I say, they got Spags off his square right now, and Joe Brady is on some, he in his all Madden mode right now. He like, every play I'm picking for this, and it's gonna work. And that's exactly what the fuck was happening. Especially in the third and fourth quarter, every run was just working, every pass was open, every pass was working. And I like how they schemed it, where they knew they were gonna key in on either Shakir or Knox or Kincaid, and they had Mac Hollins, I believe, in the slot, and that's how he got that big catch in the seam there in single coverage. And I believe it's the same way how he got his touchdown also, and Joe Brady he had Spags like, oh shit, because Spags was throwing it at him in the first quarter there, and then a little bit in the second quarter, and then he was like, oh shit, we can't stop. They could not stop the run. They didn't have no answer for the run, and they didn't have no answer for Mac Hollins. So it was like, damn, what the fuck? What the fuck do I do? You know what I'm saying? And that shit was fun to watch. Like I said, chess match all game, because it was back and forth. Niggas still scored even though they missed a 2-point conversion. They still had a 7-point lead, all of that shit. You know what I'm saying? But that shit was fun to watch. And then on their defensive side, it was tough, because in the beginning, one of the top cover guys got hurt, a little bit of friendly fire in one of the plays on the tackle. Christian Benford, who had just came back from a concussion, and he got knocked out with a concussion. So that hurt him. But they still played good. Shit, Ed Oliver, I seen him popping out, flashing. He made some plays today. You know what I'm saying? He was really getting active out there today. Excuse me. Everyone else on the back end was getting active today. Even in the running game, trying to make some tackles and stuff. Milano, Bernard, but Kaiir Elam. Sorry, bro, but you still getting a little filleted out there. You know what I'm saying? You getting put in the mix a little bit out there sometimes, because Worthy was going off. Brown was going off. You know what I'm saying? But it was crazy because I was like, damn, I know this was their first round pick from like what, 4 or 5 years ago or some shit. I'm like, damn, they picked up his option. He's still on the team. You know what I'm saying? First round corner out of Florida, and I know they brought him in and be like, yo, you gonna be one of the factors for this very game right here to help stop Mahomes. You know what I'm saying? And he was not. He had to fill in for Benford, and he was. They exploited that weakness. You know what I'm saying? So that was tough to watch. But other than that, I feel like the Buffalo Bills defense was still holding up. They were still putting some pressure on Mahomes to make him feel uncomfortable. Jordan Phillips had a big sack on that last drive to force them to get a field goal. Where it looked like they was driving and they was cooking up and heating up and they was about to score a touchdown. With enough time to force them to a field goal to get the ball back in Josh Allen's hands and score to win. No OT. You know what I'm saying? So he had a big play and a big sack there. Some miscues that they did have. I did see a play with Rousseau not really setting the edge or containing. But here was another factor too that I didn't like. But it's part of the game with how it is. It looked like the niggas on the Bills defense was purposely letting Mahomes run all over the place and run freely and was not trying to hit him or touch him because they're like, yo, fuck this nigga. I'm not getting no bullshit ass flag. I'm not going to do that shit. I'm not getting no bullshit ass flag, and I'm not going to fight one of these Chiefs niggas who's going to try and get in my head and make shit worse, even though Kelsey was doing that shit. And this is another thing about being a competitor, especially in these playoff games. Even if he don't got his shit going in motion, he not getting targets, he not getting mad catches, he knows his role to be like, hey, I'm going to stir some shit up and get in niggas' heads. Everybody got that player in any sport. You especially see it a lot in basketball. But Kelsey is that guy when at games. You've seen it in playoff games before with him. And he got in some of the defenders' heads. But what I was seeing, I was like, yo, they letting this nigga run freely. And they like, yo, you could see low-key sometimes when the defenders was running on Buffalo, they was like kind of turning their head like, yeah, all right, we just wait for him to slide and go down. Yeah, all right, we'll just wait till he run out of bounds. Yeah, all right, we'll just let him, you know what I'm saying, slide. Just don't let him score a touchdown, then we'll tag him down. Because they was really playing the game like they was coached like, yo, if you hit him, if you come in to try and lay a big blast on him or tackle him, you know what I'm saying, tough, they will throw a flag. Or he's gonna do that little pump fake slide and you're gonna be too late and they will throw a flag and it's gonna be worse. Just let him run around and do his thing. You know what I'm saying? Which the way that he been trying to motherfucking finesse that shit with that system with the refs, that might be the way that you have to coach defenders to do it. Yo, let him, whatever, just tag him down. Just be around there to be around there to contain while after he get his yards to tag him down and not score a touchdown. But that's what it looked like. They were just gonna let him run free. But the one play that I thought was key in the game, which I was like, oh shit, this gives the Bills some momentum. Some like, yeah, like, see, y'all motherfuckers really do got a chance to take this shit. Mahomes was rolling out on a third down, couldn't find no one, looked like he's gonna roll out and try and run or make some crazy throw. And Matt Milano, Old Faithful, the great vet for that team there, made a great play on him and made a big key sack right there. And that's when I thought, like, okay, now they just got to go down and score. And this is where we're going to get to now, you know what I'm saying, where the Bills was just driving and driving and driving. You know what I'm saying? They got stopped on a fourth down for the tush push. To me, I ain't going to hold you. It wasn't questionable. Josh Allen got stopped there. He got stopped. He was short of the first down. Got to get the ball back to the Chiefs, whatever. They get the field goal. It's only 3 points. You got a lot of time left, whatever. Going down. And then this specific drive, is when Spags came back to get in his fucking bag. Like, nah, fuck it. I'm back in my bag. First play, good play for it looked like a loss of 1, whatever. Second and 11. Okay. They got another play. They throw it underneath. Alright, it's only 3rd and 6 or 3rd and 5 or some shit like that. You're forced to 4th and 5 now. Big plays. I'm like, shit. Like, Spags look like he in his bag, but this is when I really was like, oh shit. Like, he pulled this shit out. Risky. Pulled this shit out of his bag. Like, yo, fuck it, nigga. Like, this is what we about to do right here. 4th and 5. Right? Everybody's on the line. I'm like, yo, this is smart. It's 4th and 5. Just play the coverage. It looks like everyone's ready to play man under 2 high, or maybe man under 1 high, and maybe a blitz from a backer or a safety through the A gap like he been doing all game, or maybe a safety off the edge, and or come off the edge, from the edge to the A gap like he been doing all game. But everyone's gonna play man or play like whatever, like a zone, keep everyone in front of you, either make a play on the ball or definitely make that fucking tackle. That's what it looked like everyone was aligned as. That was a great job, because when the ball was snapped, I ain't even peeping into the replay. But the nigga came with a corner blitz. I believe it was McDuffie, who was outside alignment on the outside receiver. He came with a corner blitz and blitzed more people through the A gap as well, and got the pressure on Allen, had him backing up and shit. And this nigga was still, because Josh Allen is still nice, still that nigga too, he was still able to make a throw off his back foot. It looked like it was in traffic, but I didn't know somebody was open until I saw a white jersey and arms out, and the nigga Dalton Kincaid dropped it. First, I'm going to say, hey, shout out to Spags being in his bag on that drive, especially that last play, because that was a great fucking design. Greatly coached right there for having your players execute that, showing this thing, really acting it, selling it, that you're doing this play, and then it wasn't that, and it was a fucking corner blitz on a 4th down in a playoff game to get to the Super Bowl with a nigga who got a big arm or can make any throw, precise or deep or whatever. That's ballsy. That's risky, my guy. But shit, shout out to you to be in your bag. The second thing I want to say, I'm sorry, Dalton Kincaid, but you know what I'm saying, you ain't no rookie no more. This is big business here in the playoffs. You gotta make them plays, man. Gotta make that catch. Man. So that's heartbreaking. That's tough. And even with that, there was still a lot more time. Not a lot, but still about a minute something left in the game. You just gotta stop some runs, this and that. But we all knew what it was heading for. Like, at that point, Kansas City just ran the ball, ran the clock down, and a great play. You know what I'm saying? The bootleg, swing route, throw it out to P-Ron, who's good for that. It's only play of the game. I think I've seen him play, but he's always been good for that. Wherever he played, even with the Bengals and even with the Broncos and shit. And now the Chiefs to get that first down, that little swing route, take it from 3 yards and run for the first time. He always good for that. He's a great role player as that 3rd or 4th running back on your squad that you want, because he's also hard to take down. Big body, could run after the catch, run a nigga over. And that sealed the game. And that was that. So, all of that, man, I gotta say, it was fun to fucking watch both of these games and shit. Definitely gonna get into some more takes that I have from what I've seen in both of these games, some more throughout the week. And of course, we're gonna hear about what everybody else is saying. We definitely gotta talk on that, see what else everyone else is saying with their reactions from the fucking games and shit. And what's to come, because like I said, or like I thought, and I'm pretty sure a lot of y'all out there and everyone else thought at this point, rematch of the Super Bowl from 2 years ago now, Eagles and Kansas City. This shit is gonna be fun as hell to watch. I think now, I was kind of rooting for. I'd rather see Jaden and Mahomes go back and forth. That should be fun as fuck. But now seeing what Jalen is doing in the passing game, it's gonna be better weather. It's the last game of the season, so I'm sure they're taking all the handcuffs off and throwing out the whole playbook at the Chiefs because they want that revenge. They want that. They say, nah, we need that one back. You know what time it is. You're gonna have to pay for that shit, that bullshit from the last game. And the Chiefs is gonna come with it too. So it should be fun to watch the rematch. It's gonna be fucking crazy, man. And like I said, when I get a chance, I want to get back to it, another volume, and talk a little bit more about these games and what's to come with the rematch here between Philly and KC. Shit should be crazy. But for right now, let's go and wrap up this volume 18 for me of Welcome to the Franchise. Y'all out there, be easy, all right?